Okay, so we have a big breaking news coming out. The US Commander-in-Chief to use presidential authority to send weapons to Ukraine. Now, this is a big breaking news here, guys. So they're trying to get these equipment to Ukraine as soon as possible. And I want to bring something up really quick here. So CBS News, earlier today, they put out this information. They said that U.S. equipment flowing again to Ukraine. The problem is not fast enough. So it has to be there ASAP. The reason why? Because the bear. You got Russia's drone striking that country. They dropping the hammer. They're dropping. Again, look at this here, guys. This is happening right now. You got the Vatican Embassy in Ukraine damaged. All right, so it seems like Donald, well, he had it up to here. He said, that's it, man. We have to send these equipment. Let's do it quick as soon as possible. Putin is just not listening, and we need to help, again, Ukraine. So we're going to see what's going on here, guys. Before I start, for those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, Number 2, Holiday, Florida 34691. And for those of you that want to help and support the channel, we do have the Cash App link and the PayPal link in the comments box and also description box. Thank you so much for your support. So, $12 billion pledge for Ukraine. $12 billion. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. All right, so we're about to be part of this once again. This time it's not Joe. This time it's Donald. Here's the difference between Joe and Donald. Donald is a type of dude that he's not scared to push a button. He's not afraid to push that button. He did it to Iran, and he put out, again, he called these leaders and he told them, look, man, I got a button. You mess with me, I'll drop it on St. Petersburg or Moscow. So we're going to see what's going on with this one here, guys. The president wants these equipment in Ukraine as soon as possible. So it says here, Donald plans to use power for first time in 47th presidency. Once again, the president could release around $300 million in U.S. equipment. The use of authority may show shift in Donald's Ukraine policy. All right. U.S. Commander-in-Chief, for the first time since returning to office, will send equipment to Kiev under a presidential power frequently used by his predecessor, two sources familiar with the decision said on Thursday, a move suggesting new interest by the president in defending Ukraine. More than 3 years after the bear invasion of its neighbor, Donald team will identify arms from U.S. stockpiles to send to Ukraine under the presidential drawdown authority, the sources said, with one saying they could be worth around $300 million. Now, from what I heard, Germany is also paying for these equipments. All right, so Germany is also going to put money in. I don't know. It seems like Ukraine is broke or something. They can't pay. They can't pay for it. U.S. Commander-in-Chief on Tuesday said the U.S. will send more equipment to Ukraine to help the country defend itself against intensifying of the bear advances. The package could include defensive Patriot missiles and offensive mid-range rockets, but a decision on the exact equipment has not been made, the sources said. One of the people said this would happen at a meeting on Thursday. So far, the U.S. Commander-in-Chief administration has only sent weapons authorized by Joe, who was a staunch supporter of Kiev. presidential drawdown authorities allow the president to draw from weapon stockpile stocks to help allies in an emergency. All right, so this is what's going on. So he's activating the presidential drawdown. This is an emergency, so he's trying to send these equipments to Ukraine as soon as possible. And I did post a video about the 400 drones has been fired towards Ukraine last night. We went live, and we actually talked about that, but it's not looking good. It's not looking good. It seems like Putin want Donald to play into his trap. Put it like that. I just feel like Putin is provoking Donald and trying to get him involved in this war. And one thing I tell you guys is that, like I said, Donald is not Joe. Donald is not Joe. The Pentagon and the White House did not immediately respond to a request for comment. The leader's stance on defending Ukraine has been inconsistent. At times, he has criticized the U.S. spending and spoken favorably of the bear, but also sometimes has voiced support for Kiev and disparaged the Kremlin. Now, once again, the sleeping giant has $3.86 billion worth of presidential drawdown authority for Ukraine remaining. The last drawdown was $500 million award by Joe on January 9. Ukraine top priority are Patriot missile interceptors and GMLRS mobile rocket artillery, which may be included in the package. The weapons could be on the front lines within days because stocks are positioned in Europe. Once again, the Trump administration this month halted shipments of some critical weapons that were approved by Joe, but some of those shipments have resumed. All right, but they're trying to get that as soon as possible. They're trying to get it there as soon as possible. All right, give me a second here, guys. It's buffering a little, and I truly apologize. It is buffering a little. I have like too many windows open. I'm doing a lot of research. I got like maybe 50 or 60 windows open. All these news articles. And again, I'm a very busy man. Very busy man. So I have to close some of these windows to let my computer breathe for a little bit. So, and I do have like 5 Reuters. So I think it might be Reuters. I got to close some of their windows up. All right, so Donald will use presidential authority to arm Ukraine, Reuters reported. Once again, the president will reportedly send $300 million worth of equipment from Sleeping Giant stockpiles to Kiev. So far, he hasn't used any of the $3.86 billion in presidential drawdown authority left over by Joe. All right, give me a second here. Let me go back on X, see if I can find any more information here. If you can, guys, please share the video. Once again, this is a big breaking news. Alright, so I want to take you to this. Give me a second here, guys. I have to close some of these windows. I'm sorry. It's just slowing down my computer so bad. Alright, so Just give me a second here, guys. Even closing the window, it takes like a minute. That's really crazy. It goes to tell you that a lot of these news articles, sometimes these news articles could be brutal. A lot of viruses. I mean, they got a lot of stuff in those news articles. There we go. Actually, let me skip that one. I want to go to CBS News. But just give me a second here, guys. I truly apologize. Just give me a minute here. Let me just close all these news articles. This is just really going insane now. Okay. It seems like it was the Associated Press too, the AP website, that was slowing down my computer. Okay, so everything seems like it's good now. I want to take you to this one here. CBS News said the sleeping giant weapons flowing again to Ukraine, but not fast enough to stop the bear drone and missile strike. A pause on some of the sleeping giant weapon shipments to Ukraine has eased, and the arms are flowing again, but not fast enough to stop the bear relentless and deadly aerial assault. For the second night in a row, the bear launched hundreds of drones and more than a dozen missiles at Ukraine, including a heavy assault on the capital, Kiev. The leader, Zelenskyy, said Thursday. 2 were out and 13 more were wounded as fires sprung up in at least 5 districts round to the city, according to Zelenskyy, quoting emergency officials. Residents fled to bomb shelters, as they have done countless times since the bear launched its full-scale invasion more than 3 years ago, with many taking cover in underground metro station. A gray haze of smoke hung in the air. Well, it's not only that, but even the Vatican embassy, I mean, that thing got hit. Ukrainian officials said the bear had launched 400 drones and 13 missiles overnight. The previous evening, Ukrainian Defense Ministry said the bear had launched 728 drones and 13 missiles, calling it Moscow's biggest aerial assault since the war began. And once again, you have the leader Zelenskyy in Rome for a global conference on Ukrainian reconstruction, implored world leaders to give more support. He called for a Marshall Plan for his country, referring to US Gov-funded program to rebuild economies of Western Europe in the wake of WW2. Now, rebuilding Ukraine is not just about our country. It's also about your countries, your companies, technology, your jobs. The way we rebuild our country can also modernize your infrastructures and industries, Zelenskyy told the political and business leaders from across Europe at the Ukraine Recovery Conference. Here's the thing, guys. If we get involved, let's say we get involved and then we get ourselves into WWE3, I just don't see us winning. I just don't see it. Now, a lot of people's going to say we're going to win. No, I don't think so. I believe that God is going to use the bear country to obliterate once and for all the sleeping giant. The sleeping giant, a land that has celebrated the abomination. Now, even the Holy Land went through that test too. Throughout scriptures, the Holy Land also walked away from God, and God allowed foreign countries to come and destroy the Holy Land cities. And those Holy Land, again, citizens were kept into Babylonian captivities. So I do believe we could see something like that with the sleeping giant. The sleeping giant has mocked our Lord and Savior. They're going after young ones. You don't believe me? The list. Jeffrey, the list. They want to keep that under the rug. You know how many those powerful ones? I'm not gonna say too much, but eventually, God will say enough is enough, and foreign lands will come and strike the sleeping giant. It says here he also called on Europe to agree to use all of the bear frozen financial assist, estimated to be worth about $450 billion. What? Oh, okay. So again, those are the Russians' frozen financial assets, estimated to be worth $450 billion. Okay, so that money belongs to the bear. It belongs to Russia. Now, the bear said if you touch that money, it's game on. Now, they're planning to use that money to fix that country. The bear said, again, that's our money, and you're not going to touch it to fix that country. It says here not only the income from these assets, but the assets themselves must be used and much more actively than they are now to help save many. So you do have a lot more information here. I'm not going to read all this here, guys, but I'm just going to show you some of this stuff. Very long article. Very long article. Long article. So once again, Zelenskyy meets Donald's special envoy on Ukraine. The Rome conference. Rome. Remember, he's in Rome. At the same time, the bear dropped something on the Vatican embassy in Ukraine. The Rome conference comes a day after Zelenskyy met in the Italian capital with Keith, U.S. Commander-in-Chief Special Envoy for Ukraine and the Bear, and separately with Pope Leo XIV. So you got some very important people here that is trying to help end this war. The problem is Putin is saying no. Secretary of State Rubio meets the Bear counterpart in Asia. So you have Rubio is also there, and he's speaking to some very important people here. The Foreign Minister Sergei of Russia. Yeah, so there's a lot of information on this one here. So I'm just gonna leave the rest in my description box. But again, guys, this is where we are right now. Donald is trying to get these equipment shipped as soon as possible and get it there ASAP. All right, it's like, when you order Uber Eats, you pay extra money to get your food early, something like that. But again, guys, we are definitely seeing something here. It seems like Donald knows something. Putin is about to possibly launch another operation tonight. He's going to be doing this a lot more often now, and it's not looking good. So it's not looking good. Thank you so much for watching. For those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. Once again, guys, $5 a month Patreon. We get you access to our live stream once a week. We talk about things that we cannot talk about on the platform. Also, I posted videos today. Those links will be in the comments box. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you all. Put faith and trust in Jesus Christ, for he's the only way, the truth, and the life. No one gets to the Father except through Jesus. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time later. Peace